welcome to my channel, or welcome back if you have seen one of my previous videos. I'm Amber, she, her, and today I'm going to be making Valentines. Or I guess more like setting these up, because I'm not like making any of the suckers or anything, or the cards. So Valentine's Day is coming up, of course, and I decided why not do a little YouTube video or something. I don't know. Also, real quick, if you hear any background noises, that's just the cats. They're being loud. But hopefully that'll subside eventually. So basically what this video is going to boil down to is me just like writing names on cards and sticking them into the little, or sticking the suckers into the cards, and then setting them aside, and then maybe sorting through them, I'm not sure. And I'm also going to be talking to the camera a lot. I thought about this earlier and decided, hey, if I'm making this YouTube video, it's going to be really boring if I'm just making these Valentines not doing anything. So I have a little list over here, and hold on. It's annoying that I'm like half cut out of frame, so I'm just, yeah, okay, that's a bit better. I have a list over here of all the people I'm going to be making Valentines for, because I need to remember how many there are, and I hope I don't miss any. And then also the list of talking points that I have, just things that I'm going to be talking about while making these. So hopefully I'll just keep talking to the camera while I make these, and I don't like get super distracted. And yeah, but there is a chance that I'm going to zone out during this. So hold on, real quick summary. I'm just making Valentines and talking to the camera about my day and things that have been happening in my life. And that's basically just what I'm doing. And I'm hopefully not zoning out at any point, but I do have a tendency to do that when I talk to myself. So if at any point I start zoning out, I will hopefully either get right back on track, or, oh gosh, there's tape over this. Or I will put timestamps in the comments of when specifically I zone out and then get back on track. Okay, so that's all I'm going to be doing. If you don't want to see that, then click off, I guess. And hopefully you'll enjoy some other video that you find. But for now, let's get going with these. First up, we have to open the first box. And I have a lot of talking points to go over and a lot of Valentines to make, because I'm making 78 of these, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure that's the number I'm making. And you might be like, Amber, what the heck? How many Valentines do you have? A lot. I'm going to be giving these out to a lot of people. And I'm sorry if you can't hear me well over the noise of this stuff. Okay. First pack of Valentines. We got 12. We got these little Barbie cards with Barbie Nikki, I think, and I don't know who this other pink-haired girl is. I don't know. I haven't played with Barbies in so long. So we're just going to fold these over and start that. But yeah. Oh, that did not go well. We're already off to an interesting start with this. So let's just check out the talking points real quick and see what I have written down. Or typed out, I guess, because I typed it out on my Chromebook, one of them. Okay. Oh, nope, that's still people. Sorry, this is a long list. Talking points. How the day's been? So basically just me talking about school life. So, all right. Let's go at this period by period. For my first period, I have 6 total class periods at my school. And for my first period, I have AP Lang, which is Advanced Placement, Language and Composition. So it's a college course. It'll give me college credit if I pass the AP exam in spring, which I think I'll be able to do. We started a rhetorical, or we haven't really started rhetorical analysis. We kind of did that, gosh, it's taking me forever to get these figured out. Sorry. We kind of did that at the start of the year. Like, that was our first unit. But then we moved on to synthesis essays and argument essays. And I have kind of just forgotten rhetorical analysis all throughout that. So now we're kind of doing a review on it, which is good because rhetorical analysis is easily my worst out of the 3 essays. I do really good with argumentative. Like, I've gotten sophistication point from my teacher on, I think, almost every one of my argumentative essays. And same deal with the other one. Whatever that one's called. I already forgot. But rhetorical analysis is not my strong suit. That's the one I do worst on. But I'm getting better, hopefully. We recently had to do a project where we, I know if you're not in AP Lang, then you probably have no clue what the heck I'm talking about with like argumentative or rhetorical analysis or whatever. So actually let me do a quick explanation and I'll explain the project we did. So rhetorical analysis is basically where you are given a like nonfiction text, or not really nonfiction, you're just given a text, so it could be like an essay that someone's written or a bit of a memoir or whatever, and you are supposed to analyze it and figure out like what did this author do, like what point is this author trying to make, like are they trying to say that we should focus on global warming, are they trying to say that beavers need to stop building dams, what are they trying to say, and then what choices do they make in that essay to, or like in that work, to convince the audience. So like, did they bring up sources? Did they use specific word choices? What appeals did they use? Did like they appeal to people's sense of empathy and all that? And then we also have to analyze how that would affect the audience, or like in what way that would work. And then just for other things as well, synthesis essay is basically where you're given like 7 different sources on a random topic. Like I think last year's, our teacher told us that last year the AP, it sounds like my brother and mom are home, so we might get a bit of interruption here. But last year the AP exam prompt was on wind farms, which you know how like there are windmills and all that, and like just all of those put together in one area and how like they make green energy, I think is what wind farms are. So that was the prompt, and basically you're given 7 different sources. One of them is a infographic or a picture or something that helps you with information. You're given those, and then you have to write an essay arguing some point, like to what extent are wind farms useful, or like in the future should we be worried about this having to do with wind farms and all that. So you have to write an essay on that. And then argumentative is, hey. Actually, I'm recording a video right now. Can we do that later? Okay, thank you. Sorry, cat litter's getting crazy. Probably too much information. Anyway, so first little stack of these is done. But real quick, back to argumentative. So argumentative essay is basically just where you are given like a random topic to talk about. Like, I think last year's prompt was something about selfies, like what is the extent of like how good selfies are, or like something like that, I don't know. And it's kind of just asking like that, and then you're supposed to write an entire essay on selfies. And like, we actually were given this prompt, and it's like, to what extent are selfies important for documenting history? And I said, oh, selfies are actually really good for documenting history because a lot of the times we are left out of history. Like photos can show, that's probably really confusing. Photos can show history better than like text can, because it just shows like a specific moment. Like you can describe what something looks like, but people aren't going to picture it the same way. But pictures will show you what it was like. And then in that regard, selfies are very important to history because there are thousands of pictures out there, hundreds, millions, whatever. But only a few of them are actually going to make it into history. Like my history textbook is sitting right over there. I could grab it, point to a random picture from the Vietnam War and ask you like, hey, do you know who this person is? You will have no clue. That's the point. Because certain pictures will be taken and used. Everything else is disregarded. So selfies in that way are kind of like us writing our own history and be like, hey, we were here. That probably sounds really confusing. I'm very sorry about that. So right now I have my first Valentine. Let's take a little quick pause and then I'll talk about the project that we did. But this one says, your style icon. There we go. And this is Nikki, I believe, on it. just assuming by how she's been portrayed previously in other Barbie things. And this is going to my best friend, Evan. So to Evan from Amber. All right, 1 done, 76 more to go. So anyway, rhetorical analysis. Recently we did a project where we were given a song to, like, we were given this song called Streets of Minneapolis. And we had to, like, look through its lyrics and talk about how, like, these lyrics were trying to make this point, how this point would have affected the audience, or how, like, these choices made to make the point would have affected the audience and all that. And then we got to choose our own song to do that with, where we got to be like, okay, this is the point the author or the writer of the song is trying to make. This is how they do that, and this is how it affects the audience. And the one I did was, this is too olive, was Bears and Wolves by Lilith Max. If any of you have listened to that, you know how good it is. If you have not, go listen to it. It's amazing. It's based off of the bear versus man debate that happened a while back, which was basically where, like, women were asked, like, would you rather encounter a random bear or a random man in the woods? And a lot of them answered bear for valid reasons. And then a bunch of people on the internet got upset and were like, why would you choose the bear? That's, like, that thing's gonna maul you to death. And it's like, yeah, sure, maybe it will, but I don't know. It's better than what men can do. And it became a huge thing, and yeah. So that was a response to the man versus bear debate, and it's a very good song. So go listen to it if you haven't. Finish this video first, then go listen to it, please. Oh, also, I don't think I mentioned this, but I'm going to be talking about a lot about myself, of course. So in the comments, if you want to, or if you can, feel free to talk about your own life out there. Like, I'm talking about my life. Feel free to just start commenting on your own life and be like, hey, this happened in my class today. This is kind of related to what you said. Or, hey, this happened. This is not at all related to what you said. I just want to talk about it. Feel free to start doing that, okay? I would love to have some conversations with y'all. Okay, 1 second. Okay, 4 done. So next period is ASL for me. It's technically college or community college ASL, American Sign Language, because our school only offers one thing of American Sign Language, and then we have another community college class, I guess. I don't really get it, but yeah, let's see. Was there anything specific I wanted to talk about ASL? Oh yeah, we had a test today in ASL, which was basically you just have to, like, have a conversation with someone. And so I was just like, hi, partner. And they were like, hi, partner. And I was like, so next week, Thursday, I'm going to a friend's birthday party. You and Josie want to join? And then I had to describe what Josie looked like. And then we kind of just went on like that for a little bit. And apparently I don't raise my eyebrows very much. Like, you have to do this. If you're asking yes or no question in ASL, you have to raise your eyebrows to indicate that it's a yes or no question. And I apparently can never do that. I've been taking this class for the whole semester. We're in semester 2 now, and I took it last year. I took ASL 1 last year. I always get comments from the teacher of, raise your eyebrows. It's like, okay, is this high enough? And I guess it never is, because she always comments on that. I'm good with, like, furrowing my eyebrows, because if it's not a yes or no question, if it's like a who, what, where question, you have to furrow your eyebrows. And who am I supposed to be doing this next one for? Let's see, last one was Juniper, so now we're on to, oh my gosh. Now we're on to Miles. Okay. So, yeah, that's fun. Oh, this new one says, you're one of a kind. So that's fun. Let's see. So 3rd period, we just finished talking about World War I and how the US was involved with it. Something ironic that I think comes up every once in a while is just, like, apparently right before the Civil War, everyone was like, oh, you know, U.S. Civil War, it's going to be over in a couple of days or whatever. The rebels, what are they called? I don't remember what they're called. That's not good. The Confederates, that's it. I was thinking it was starting with an R, but it's the Confederates. They're going to walk in, they're going to see the Union and all the numbers that they have, like the numbers of men and how powerful we are, and they're going to flee and they're going to surrender, and it'll only be a couple of days, a few weeks tops. And then it lasted for like 4 years. And then apparently the same thing was thought when World War I started, like, oh, the Germans, they're going to see our power and they're going to back off immediately. We'll be home before Christmas, don't you worry. And then that lasted for 4 years as well. So, yeah. If anyone ever says, oh, this will be a short war, no, it won't. That's what I've learned. I've also learned that history just tends to repeat itself a lot, because also for AP Lang, we got a new book. We're, like, every unit we get a new book to read to, like, evaluate and use for journal prompts and all that, so that we can, like, be more prepared for the tests. I have read Columbine, which is about the Columbine school shooting, which I thought was very interesting, and, yeah. Also, Valentine's level, we're on to period 1 now, which probably doesn't make no sense. I'll explain that in a minute. And then I also read Just Mercy by Bryan Stevenson. That book made me mad. Do not read that before you go to bed or anything, because you will go to bed mad. There was literally a line in it where one of the Southern judges asked Bryan Stevenson, the author and the lawyer, like one of the main people in the book, like, I've heard people talking about all these ethnic, racial communities and their rights as Americans. When is someone going to bring up the Confederate rights of this country? And I just in my head was like, sir, you're in the southern states. Confederate rights are like dominant rights there. No one's going to bring that up to you because no one's concerned about those rights being infringed on. If you want to talk about Confederate rights and how they're being infringed on, move up here. But please don't actually talk about that, because most of us do not support you in that. Politics. Yay! I don't know if you heard that, but my mom's watching something, so. Anyway, what I mean by, like, we're on to period 1 Valentines is I've made this list based off of when I plan to give everyone Valentines. So this one is going to someone in my first period. These other ones, these other 6, I don't have classes with them, so I'm planning on just giving them, like, whenever I see them, hopefully at the start of the day. And that will be when they're passed out. Oh, this one, by the way, says, "You make my day brighter," which I think is really sweet. Oh, and this one, I forgot to mention, I think is Barbie. So then I don't know who this character is. Raquel, maybe? Or Teresa? I'm not sure. Anyway, so yeah, we're on to the period 1 classes. Or my period 1 class. These are the kids in my AP Lang class who I will give Valentine's to. And then we have all the other period classes that I have. And then we have all my after school activities. So that would be speech class, or not speech class, but speech, quiz bowl, the 1-acts, D&D, which isn't really a club that I'm in. It's just a little group thing that we're doing. And then I'll also hopefully be making things for my family. Okay, let's move on to 4th period, myth. That does not give you a lot of indication to what this class is about. The full title is Modern Myth 2, and it's a class about comic books and superheroes, which I didn't really expect when going into the class. Like, I knew it was going to be about comic books and superheroes. That whole thing was on, like, the registration sheet. But I thought we were going to be, like, specifically analyzing them and talking about them and all that, and, like, why they were influential or how to write a good superhero or whatever. You know, the kind of stuff that you do. Hold on. Okay, yeah, no, I have the same. I thought I had 4 cards here, which would make no sense because I have 3 lollipops, but I have 3 lollipops and 3 cards, so we're good. Anyway, I thought modern myth would be like classroom analyzation of superheroes and why they're popular. It's not actually. We have comic book clubs. We get to watch movies in class, and if you're like, wow, that sounds like a lot of lazy work, we do actually learn stuff. We've learned like about the hero's journey through watching Star Wars: A New Hope, I believe. We've also learned about it through watching Miles Morales Into the Spider-Verse. We've learned about like through watching Black Panther, we learned about like inner struggles, Rage of the Outcast, women in power, stuff like that. So we do learn stuff in this class by looking through all of this. Oh, we learned about like relatability through watching Thor Ragnarok, reading the Jane Foster Thor comics, and then also reading an old Thor myth about like why the world like why the ocean now has tides and all that, if you know that myth. Anyway, back to what I'm supposed to be doing. So yeah, that's kind of what the class is about. Recently we started another book club, and I'm reading Parable of the Sower, which is kind of like a post-apocalyptic story, or it's like the world is about to go into apocalypse. And it's about this girl, Lauren, who lives in like this gated community in this apocalypse, and how she's dealing with religion and fears of like what's going to happen if someone breaks in and something happens in the community, and how the adults seem to be just ignoring the problems and not caring. And I relate to it so much. One, for the ideas of religion. I am an atheist, but I live in a half-Christian household, and the cat's just got into a cub bag. Hopefully that's nothing to worry about. And then also the ideas of like the adults just don't care. My parents care. One of them does anyway. The other one is iffy on the subject, but he's Canadian, so US politics doesn't matter to him too much. He can always escape across the border. But like just having people around me not care, because a lot of my family is actually conservative, which I'm not happy about it, but oh well. I need to get back to this. But I kind of relate to the ideas of like just being upset with how things are going and not really feeling like you can make much of a difference. And then also, of course, like the ideas of religion and how that can be switched around sometimes. So, yeah. This is an interesting name. Okay. And then, so that's kind of how fourth period's going right now. I'm in a book club and we're just talking about that pretty much. And then that's my fourth period. It's also, at my school, we have 3 different lunch periods. A lunch is you go to lunch right after third period. B lunch, which is the lunch I have, you go to lunch between, like in the middle of fourth period. And then C lunch, you go to lunch after fourth period. I don't know which lunch I like more. I've had to deal with all 3 lunches, but mainly A lunch or B lunch. I don't know. I think B lunch is actually really good for my class because we don't have like any sit down and write out answers tests. We have like performance grades that are more like actual performance, like writing out a project or something. So that means that like we never have to switch periods with another class and be like, hey, can you guys do B lunch today and we'll do C lunch so that we can get these all written out or whatever. Or so that like no one cheats on the test. Stuff like that. Because I know some classes have to do that and we don't, so that's a nice thing. Also, another thing is that apparently that class is supposed to only be open to seniors, but it was an option on last year's registry for my year. I'm not a senior. I am not that old yet. But it was open to registry for me last year and for a bunch of other kids. I ended up getting in, and I am one of, if not the youngest kid. There may be a kid who's younger than me and just is like in a grade up, like started early or whatever. But yeah, that's fun. I have a bunch of senior friends now who are just, yeah. Okay, who am I on now? Okay, now we're on to period 2. So this is ASL. Oh, I'm just talking while making these. So, a while, we're already at almost half an hour. I might have to break this up or something.
Why are you making this video?
I don't know, I just thought it would be fun. Okay. Now we're on to second box out of 7. And once again, we have to deal with the tape. I don't want to break a nail doing this. There we go. That's a lot faster. But yeah. Okay, get Valentine's Day candies. Okay. So that was 4th period. Now 5th period is my math class. I'm in advanced algebra, which at my school is 1 grade above than what I'm technically in. And it's fun. I don't actually like math. I'm not, like, if I could, I would drop it right now. I do not want to do it ever. It's not something that I ever plan on using in my adult life or whatever, unless I absolutely have to. And honestly, it's amazing that some of the kids that are in the class, even if they're older than me and are technically doing this like at their grade level, it's amazing that they're even in the class. Because I had to reteach, like yesterday, I had to reteach someone basic addition and multiplication. To be fair, the problem we were doing was a bit weird. We're dealing with polynomials. So that's like if you have like 5x cubed plus 2x squared plus 8x plus 4. And then we're working on dividing them. We were working on dividing them yesterday. Which we were taught 3 methods to do it. So we were taught like long division method, box method, and then synthetic or something. It starts with an S and has a Y in it. I think it's something like synthetic. But we were taught the first 2, which are a bit long and a bit complicated. And then we were taught the second one and told it's so much easier. And it actually kind of is. It's pretty easy if you remember your negatives and positives and how those are affected. But for some reason, we still have to do like a box or a long division version of it instead of just heavily relying on synthetic. I don't know why. It's really weird. But I guess there are just some things that like you have to solve with one because it doesn't make sense with the other. Which also doesn't make sense because you think that no matter what situation, like no matter what you're using, it's going to make sense in some way. But it doesn't. So I had to reteach someone basic addition and multiplication. So that was fun. At least I did something for my ego, I guess. Let's see. So that's 5th period. And also just another thing, the way the math teachers at my school teach, it does not help. They like give us a warm-up problem from the day before. So this is a problem that we know how to solve because we did it yesterday. Then they lead us through one example problem of what we're doing today. Then they send us 2 whiteboards to work out what we're doing. And that's it. For basically the rest of the class, they just give us a worksheet and are like, okay, solve all these with 2 random people that you are in class with but have like no actual interest of talking with because they assign us random groups at the start. And that's all really fun because just, yeah, it's fun to not ever get to work with your friends because the sorting board hates you. Now, who's this one going to? I need to get back up to where I was because I went down to see my talking points and then I just stopped in the middle of like my speech team. Okay, I think this one's, what was the last one I did? Oh, I didn't put a from on this one. Let me just do that real quick. Okay, so anyway, as I was saying, math class, wonderful, great. And I have to take pre-calc next year because colleges want to see like 4 years of math, which I'm not happy about. But I'm a slave to the system. That's not what I'm supposed to write. I just wrote to Amber. Yes, I'm giving one to myself now. It's okay, the name is short. I can just tuck it under. Anyway. So my last period is community college earth science, or not earth science, it's community college biology, because it was either that, normal biology, or AP biology. I'm not doing AP biology. I don't have enough of an interest in science to do AP for most of it, and I do not have I want to get college credit or something close to it at least, so I'm not just going to take normal. So I decided to take community college biology, which sucked for the first semester because the teacher I had didn't really teach it well, and I kept getting C's and D's on my tests, which for me is not normal. I'm usually good with A's and B's. So that's something. And yes, of course, I could have studied more. I could have read the textbook and done the reading guides that they gave us. But I have a rule where if it's not going to be due, I try not to actually do the work. If it doesn't actually qualify towards my grade, I'm not doing it because then I have less stress. I have more time to do my own stuff and focus on other schoolwork that's actually going to affect my grade. So, yeah. Let's see, who's this going to? Millie, okay. So, yeah. I also have, let's see. So at the semester break, I got that class swapped, or I got switched to a different teacher. She seems much nicer. I like her a lot more. And I'm actually sitting by one of my friends, which last semester I didn't really sit by any of my friends, or if I did, we didn't really talk much. Me and this other friend are we sit next to each other pretty much, and it's very fun, because then we get to talk about stuff, and we're in the same math class this semester as well, so we can talk about math too. Oh my gosh. So yeah, great. And you know what, some of these have, I just remembered, some of these have last names on them, so we're just gonna move them over there to protect certain people's privacy. I know I've already said a handful of names, but yeah. Anyway. But yeah, she seems cool. I like her as a teacher so far. And I don't know, we're learning about Punnett squares and genetics, which I think is a very interesting topic. I like doing it. And also, it gave me the idea for, I'm a bit of an author, or a writer, or just storyteller, or whatever you want to call it. So I have a bunch of characters, and one of them lives in a superhero world, like superhero sci-fi world, where superpowers are passed down through genetics and are probably more of a recessive gene. Or certain superpowers are recessive and you need certain combinations of certain genes in order to even get superpowers and also figure out what those superpowers are going to be. So this one character, I feel like her favorite shape would be a square because it's a Punnett square, because she is the only person in a very long line of people to have superpowers in her family. And they're not weak powers either, they're relatively strong. So she's just very happy to have powers, and her favorite shape is a square, because Punnett square, because genes, which gave her powers. Yeah. Okay, am I out of school talking points? Am I out of that? Let me go and check real quick. Let's see. Oh no, I have one act rehearsals and then homework to talk about, and then we move on to another topic. So I am in this after school thing called the One Acts at my school, where basically students get to direct short 10-minute plays that everyone else gets to act in, and it's really fun. And I had rehearsal for one of them today, which we're just calling it Ava, or Eva. It's spelled EVA, but it's pronounced Ava, I'm pretty sure. And it's based off of this old anime show, Neon Evangelicis. I don't remember what it's called, but it's old and apparently it was really confusing, which makes sense because of the script that we have. And yeah, I had rehearsal today, and it actually went pretty smoothly because, and I say that because the people in this group, me included, we are ADHD, autism, intrusive thoughts, all personified and shoved in a room together to practice this thing. So there have been times where we just go off on 20-minute long tangents, and that's fun, but also not really productive. And I have a speaking role in this play now, which is really good. I did not used to have a speaking role, but someone had to drop out. One of my friends had to drop out, so now I have been upgraded to another person's role. They have been upgraded to her role, And now I have a speaking role, which is awesome. Oops. Awesome. But it also means I have lines to memorize, which I'm in another one act where I am a main character. I have, I'd say, a majority of the lines, or maybe not a complete majority, but I have a lot of lines. And I have to memorize all those. I have memorized all those. I have not memorized, like, any of my lines for the other one, or I know, like, what order they're supposed to go in somewhat. But yeah. It's like, back in middle school, for the 7th grade play, this one kid was playing Shrek for Shrek Jr. He memorized all his lines apparently really well. And then the next year, doing Matilda Jr., the musical, he played Mr. Wormwood, and he could not memorize his lines. Like, I remember I was helping out with that show in the last week, and I was, like, sitting in the audience making paper money or whatever, and he was like, yes, we'll have those old cars. He forgot what he was supposed to say. It was like old humbuggies or something. And then also I sat at a table where he had some friends, so he would occasionally come over and run lines with a few of the people, and he had trouble memorizing his lines then as well. So yeah, I have that thing where if I have a big role, all my lines are memorized. I'm ready to go. But if I have a small role, line, yeah, so that happened. And then homework today as well. That's another thing. What? Okay, I need to actually get through these because this video is really long already. I did not expect it to get, we're almost at 40 minutes, oh my gosh. And I am pretty sure my mom and brother do not want me hogging the dining room for the rest of the day. Or night, or whatever. It's 7:50, it is almost 8 o'clock. Wow, okay. That's fun. So, anyway. I also had homework to do today, which was just some history homework. And I thought it would be a lot harder because I didn't do any homework for history last night. And we were given, basically, we're given this reading guide, which I don't actually want to show it because it has, like, my full name on it, and I don't want that. It also, I'm pretty sure, has my teacher's name on it, which I don't want to show. But basically, it's just like, okay, you're going to read this chapter this day, this chapter this day, and so on and so forth. And it had, like, 3 days for us to read this one section of a chapter. And I didn't read it yesterday. I was supposed to read it yesterday. I was just like, I'm just going to knock the whole chapter out in one day. I didn't read it yesterday because I went to Barnes & Noble with my aunt and brother to get a book. And I just didn't do homework after that. I got home late because I had one act rehearsals for the other one act that I'm in, the one where I have all my lines memorized. And then I just kind of chilled and had dinner, and then went to Barnes & Noble, came back with my books, and just did nothing else for the rest of the day. So I was a bit worried about falling behind, but also we covered a lot of what was covered in the chapter in class today, so I just really had to skim through one part of the chapter and add, like, oh, the Americans brought to World War I military force, like, in the case of, like, cannons and all that, troops, and optimism, wavering on idealism and naivety and all that. So that happened. And yeah. Okay, so that's my talking points for school today. Let me just finish this one. We will open another pack and we will get more talking points going. So that, again, it's not just me sitting here silently doing Valentine's while you all have to suffer through that. Come on, open. Gosh darn it, open. Cut to, oh, there's a teacher card in here. I didn't even realize that there are teacher cards. Oh well, I've already made like 3 different cards for my teachers using these, so can't really do that. Okay. But yeah, today's been good. Okay, let's get down to the next talking point and then I'll resume these. So next talking point, we've already done all of this, pretty much. Recent books I've read. That's another talking point. So I recently finished reading A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. Technically, I reread it. And it was very fun to reread because there's a lot that I forgot about it. And also, it's just a really good book. Although I did notice one point where the author is British, and there was one point where you could see that where everything had been edited to sound English, except it said that one person's hair was in plaits or plaits. I'm not sure how you pronounce it, but basically that's just their way of saying braids. So I just noticed that, and then otherwise, of course, really good book, especially for someone who's like a huge mystery fan. Like, I love murder mysteries. I don't know if true crime fan is the best way to put it, because that honestly sounds very disrespectful. Like, oh yeah, I'm a fan of people getting murdered. But I like the genre, I guess, is a decent way to put it. I'm not sure. That's something. Okay, how come these ones always break off so easily, and then these two just, like, always stay connected until the end? Anyway. Mom, are you doing the cat litter on your own? Mom?
What's that?
Are you doing the cat litter on your own?
No.
Okay. I heard you moving bags and thought you were doing the cat litter. Anyway, so yeah, Good Girl's Guide to Murder. Very fun. And I know there's a show on Netflix, and I should probably watch that at some point, especially now that I've been refreshed. I really want to watch this. I really want to read the sequel books as well. There's Good Girl, Bad Blood, and then As Good as Dead. So that should be fun. Just gonna close that so we don't dry out the ink as much. Yeah. And then other books that I've read recently. I mentioned that I went to Barnes & Noble yesterday with my aunt and brother. So our aunt takes us every year to Barnes & Noble to get like a, to get us books for Valentine's Day. She gives us like a small budget, which really only covers one book. But hey, I can't complain. It's a free book. I ended up getting 2 books though, and then owed her money for it. Sad. But yeah. So I got 2 books. One is called Afmao Searching for Home, which is a comic book by the YouTuber Afmao. And I got it because I haven't actually been a part of the Afmao fandom for a while. Sometimes I'll go back and like review old videos of hers that I found and liked. Or I'll see what the new ones are holding. But I like used to be part of the fandom, and I saw that on the shelf, and I was like, okay, I need this. I need to figure out what this is. So I am now using that, or I've read that, and it is not quite linear. Or I guess that's not the right way to say it, because linear means like in a timeline, or like in good time. Like linear means like point A happens before, point B happens during, point C happens after, that kind of stuff. I don't know why I need to tell you this. You're probably old enough to understand that. And if not, hi, welcome. Anyway. But, let's get these done. It doesn't always make much sense, I guess. There's some things that are a bit chaotic or a bit out of place, but you know what? What else can you expect from books? It was pretty good read all around, and I say that as a high schooler who, again, has not been in the Afmao fandom for a while. We're on to period 4, everyone. The one teacher's name I can just put on the first line. I usually write like Mr. or Miss, and then their name underneath that, because the area they give us is so small. So you can see this is where we're supposed to write to. Very small. But this teacher just goes by like one initial because their name is so hard to pronounce. So I just have to write to Mr. or Mrs. Initial. We're good. Okay. Anyway. Yeah. The other book I got was called The Briars. It's also a murder mystery. And it's set back in like 1982, I think. 12 years after the Mount St. Helens eruption. They specified that. And I haven't actually really started... Again, I did it again. Okay, is there anyone in this class with a name that starts with... Okay, AJ, I can do that. I almost wrote my name in the to section again. But nope. So this person... I've already said their name. Oh well. Anyway... I just started reading the prologue, and I already have another book that I'm reading that I'm using as, like, my bedtime book that I read right before I go to sleep, and then another one that I'm using for school, the one I chose from the library. So, that's kind of just what I'm doing, I guess. So I haven't really started this one yet. It's just kind of sitting on the chair down there that I'll read it eventually, but I have 2 other books that I want to read after I finish my bedtime book. The Maze Runner and Just Another Missing Person, and then I'm going to start reading The Briars, hopefully, or continue reading it, and then, yeah. Fourth period is very special because, again, it's my myth class. It's my favorite class. Pro tip to anyone who is registering for classes. I know registration is probably already passed, but if you're registering for classes and you're taking a bunch of advanced things, always make sure that every semester there is one class that you are taking that is just something you're interested in and isn't going to be super hardcore. That will be your saving grace, okay? That will be the one class that, like, that has been my saving grace, is just this class. Every day, it's the one class I am, without a doubt, looking forward to going to and having fun with. Okay. Next person. And the class is so small, like it's only about 20 people, I think. So I'm just giving everyone in the class a Valentine, even if I don't know them. Just because, why not? Everyone in there is pretty cool. They seem cool. So why not give everyone a Valentine? Okay. So I'm reading The Briars. I've read Aphmau. I finished A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. And, another reason I chose The Briars was because one of the stories that I'm writing now is kind of like, where am I? Okay. Is kind of like woodsy themed, where like you have this Pennsylvania forest, like Appalachian Mountains kind of deal going on with them, and that's like the setting. And The Briars seems very woodsy as well. So I just decided, hey, same deal, might keep me inspired for a couple more weeks, because my inspiration to write goes really fast. Anyway. So, other book that I'm writing or reading is The Summer I Turned Pretty. I started that one. And so far, the only thing that seems to have changed that made this girl pretty is that she started wearing contact lenses instead of glasses. And I'm only like 3 chapters in. So, it's not super duper flamboyant yet, or like, shoot, hold on, what did I do? I have 2 lollipops, but I'm missing a card. Were there 13 lollipops in there? Did I get a baker's dozen? I might have to look through that later and see if I accidentally grabbed 2 for one of these things. Doesn't look like it. Weird. Okay, either I threw a card in here without a lollipop, or I got a baker's dozen of lollipops. All right. Who am I? Shoot, I lost track of where I am. Oh. Yay. Well, is this? No, this is still one. Oop, and I smudged the ink. Oh well. So, Summer I Turned Pretty, another book I'm reading, because it's popular, and there's also a TV show, so I might also watch that. And yeah, seems fun. 1 second, let me just check something. So my aunt also got me like another Valentine's Day gift, which was another book that I didn't have to pay for and that she just bought randomly. And it's called Chasing Evil, and it's like this true crime thing about an FBI agent and a psychic who worked together for a while. I don't know if I really believe in the supernatural. Like, it's not something, I think I'm willing to believe it. Like, if there's proof that it exists, I'm willing to believe it. But right now, I'm kind of more favoring the more logical version of it's probably just a bunch of coincidences. Like, I'd like to think I believe in it, but at the same time, I kind of just tend to immediately say no to it. So I'm not sure about the psychic person. I do think maybe there are like people who have a deeper connection to whatever's going on in life, but yeah, we're almost at an hour now. And how we're filming and yapping. So thank you if you've stayed on this long. It means a lot. I don't know how to check for tension graphs, so I don't know how to check those yet. So if you have, then I will not know if you have clicked off yet or not. But thank you anyway for watching, if you've made it this far, or if you haven't even, just checking out my video makes me happy. So anyway, as I was saying, I'm not sure if I really believe in psychics, so I'm not sure how much I really believe in this story. But I do still think it's interesting, and of course it's about the John Smith murders. Like, what other common name can you come up with? Are we about to go to John Doe too? Or, I don't know. It's a pretty common sounding name. Alex Johnson being another one. That'll hopefully come up later. But, yeah, should be interesting if I give it a read. I have a few other true crime books that I haven't read yet, that are still on my shelf. There go the cats. But, who knows? Maybe I'll read it sooner or later. I'm not trying to make it sound like I'm not interested in it, because I am. I'm just saying, I just am not a super big true crime book person, or like memoir person, I guess I should say. Which makes it ironic that I'm taking AP Lang, because all we do is read memoirs and like true stories. But oh well. Anyway, what was the other thing I was going to talk about? Like another book. Oh yeah, what's it called? I'm going to use the scroll bar this time so that I can keep my spot. A Fever in the Heartland. That's the book I chose for AP Lang. It's basically about the KKK and how in like the late 1920s they came to power, but then how this one woman like completely shut them down. And just reading the prologue or intro or whatever, that made me angry. So if it's anything like Just Mercy, you know it's going to be a good book then. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, yep, all 12. We're good. But, yeah, should be a good read. And we hate the KKK. I'm not afraid to say that. And I really doubt anyone related to the KKK is even watching this video, so, haha. Who am I looking at next? Shoot, who was the last person? Haha, I really need to keep better track of these. I think that was, that person. So, next up is this person. I really hope I don't have many repeat names in here, because if I do, I'm going to have to, like, go through and check, like, okay, is this, like, which class does this person go to? Okay, this is the one. Oh, and my dad's home. Anyway, so yeah, those are some of the books I'm reading. Hey, I'm filming a video.
You're filming a video?
Yeah, for YouTube.
Oh, okay.
I might need your help to edit it later, because I've said someone's name multiple times and they want it edited out. So.
Okay.
Anyway, so that's the books talking part that I have. What other talking points? Speech. One of the after-school activities I'm in. How many? Ooh, we're getting through these kind of fast. I might have to go into more detail about these, or I might just have to end the video when I run out of talking points, because after that, there's really no point in listening anymore. It's just me silently doing this and maybe commenting on the weather. Anyway, so one of the after-school activities I'm in is called speech. And in that, where am I? Here we are.
She's being mean to me.
Kit Kat is?
No, Matilda. Stroke her and she immediately goes into attack mode.
Matilda, be nice to your dad.
Yeah. Remember who feeds you in the morning.
So, anyway, speech is basically an after-school activity where it's like speech from speech and debate. We have a speech team and we have a debate team. Debate already happened, though. Their season was, like, really early, kind of just fall, and then we're more winter. The whole reason I'm doing speech is because this school does not have a creative writing course or creative writing club. But I think we have a creative writing course now, but that's more for seniors again, so I can't take it. That is not how you spell that name. My goodness me. But, I'm in speech, and my category is creative writing, so basically I write a short story that's like 10 minutes long, and then I act it out in the form of a one-person play. I'm not allowed costumes, I'm not allowed props. I'm basically just supposed to be doing this in a 3-piece suit and dress shoes, which isn't the worst thing. The worst thing is the mornings, because you have to get up at like 6:30, 6 in the morning to get ready to go to a tournament that's going to have you performing from sunrise to sunset. That is the worst part, is that I waste a good Saturday morning. Is that? Yeah, that's how you spell the name. But, you know, it's whatever. Basically, though, how speech works is there are 3 preliminary rounds where you go and you perform your speech in front of a judge, and then a handful of other people who are in the round with you. They perform their speeches as well, and then at the end of each round, you get scored out of the amount of people who are there. So let's say that including you, there are 7 people in the round, then you get a score 1 out of 7, 1 being the best, highest score you can get, 7 being the worst. And you're also given like your time, and then the judge will put in little notes of like, oh, this is a part that you could have been better for, this is something I don't think you should do, this is something that I really liked, stuff like that. And, oh gosh. Yeah, I just had to squeeze that name in. It's my second year doing this, and last year it was really fun because one of my friends was doing it, also a creative writing kid, or yeah, creative expression kid. And then there were some cool seniors also in creative expression, so I got to hang out with those guys and became friends with them. And one of them like kind of became my emotional support person because he was cool, but he was a senior, so he graduated this year. And now it's just me because my friend left this year as well. So it's just me now. And, oh, we are less than a minute away from hitting an hour of me talking to myself. Hooray! Yeah, okay, let's get back down. Okay, last 2 people as well for, period 4. But other person left, and a bunch of my other friends joined, and honestly, hold on, wait a minute, I just realized there's a person I may or may not be missing. Okay, no, I put them in the speech category. Anyway, so a bunch of my other friends joined, and they've all been doing super well. Like, I think one person finaled an original oratory or something, and it's her first year. And I'm jealous because, or I should say I'm envious. Proper use of that word. Hold on. We've hit over, really, Mom?
What's that?
Really? All right, we've hit over an hour of me talking. Nothing. Never mind. We've hit over an hour of me talking to myself, so let's keep going. Yeah. I'm envious because I last year got like last in every round, and that was annoying and really affected my mental health. And then this year I'm doing better. I have not gotten last in any of the rounds, but I've been like second to last or third to last in everything. So I'm at least able to keep that steady. I'm doing better, but it's still really annoying to just sit there and hear everyone get like one claps, because that's what you do in speech. Instead of like going into dramatic applause every time someone gets an award, you just do and then move on to the next person, just so that like we're not there for 5 extra hours. If it's someone from your school or if it's a friend, you go woo when you clap as well. So like just adding a little bit of extra support. But yeah, it's not fun hearing everyone else's name get called and then knowing that you're a failure in that regard, especially when I actually really love creative writing. And really, I just hate the acting part. Like, I don't like having to perform a whole play. I'd rather just be judged on my ability to write out a compelling story, compelling short tale. Because in that case, I would win. I would win everything. What would I win? Who knows, honestly. But I would win. Anyway. Yeah. But that's kind of how the tournaments are scheduled. You do the first 3 preliminary rounds, and if you score really well, then you move on to finals or next-ins. Next-ins is like second place finals, where you weren't good enough for finals, but you're still really good, so we're going to give you next-ins. And then sometimes they have like honors awards, which is like right after next-ins, and then they have novice awards, which is like, you're not good enough for anything else, but you're still good. Like, we had so many people who were really good in this category that this is like what we've done. Or there were just so many people in this category that we've just done extra stuff. What is my mom doing down there? She might just be vacuuming up cat litter that's gotten into the carpet. Because we have the litter boxes in the living room. What a bright idea, right? Anyway, I have performed once for next-ins, and that was at a tournament when there were so few people in creative expression that they were just like, let's just give everyone an award. Also, last year, as it was my first year, I did not know that you were only supposed to write one speech and perform it in front of everyone. You think that'd be common knowledge. There are 10 tournaments, you just write one speech and perform that and improve it over the course of the season. But I didn't know that. So what I ended up doing was I made it a goal at the start of the year to write one speech each week and perform it in front of the judges, a new speech every week. And you might be looking at me like, Amber, what the heck? Are you insane? And yes, I'm insane, probably. And also, yes, that is how every other person I have told that looked at me. Like, I literally was at our home tournament like 2 weeks ago, and a kid stopped me and was like, oh, I think I remember you. You did a New Year's speech last year, right? And I was like, yep, that was one of them. And he was like, one of them? And I was like, yeah, I didn't know at the start of the tournament season that we were only supposed to do one speech per year. So I ended up making that challenge myself. And he was like, what? And I told that to a few seniors last year too, and they had the same reaction. And technically I think you can do like multiple speeches, but it has to be like 2 speeches maximum. Like, you write out your first speech, and then if you don't like it, and it's still early in the year, you can like rewrite your speech entirely and change it to something else. That's something that someone did last year and this year, so I'm pretty sure you can do it. But you have to do it early in the season. You can't just like change it randomly when there are only 3 tournaments left. Yeah, that's how I spend my Saturdays recently. Oh, yeah, some advice. So I didn't recently come up with this, but last year I made a rule to myself for speech, which, by the way, we have gotten through all my classes. We're now doing the extracurricular Valentines. Woo! It should not take me this long to get through 6 periods, plus a handful of other people. But here we are. Anyway, Gosh, this is gonna be such a long video. Last year I made a goal or like a rule that I would not look at my scores until the next day after the tournament. So basically, scores are released right after the tournament ends. So you can like compare scores on the bus ride home, and I just smudged more ink. You can compare scores of like how you did with other kids, or you could just look at what the judges say. My scores were really bad last year. Like, again, bottom of the barrel every tournament. And I knew that. So I never looked at my scores, or I tried not to. There were a handful of times I broke that rule. But I made it a little rule that if you, like, I made a little rule that I would never look at my scores the day of the tournament, and I'd wait until the next day, because then the next day, I'm not absorbed with the tournament. I can like look at things clearer and be like, okay, yeah, I see why someone said this. I get that. And it also just doesn't ruin the tournament for you. And it helps with mental health. It's a lot better to do it that way. So that's what I did. And for the most part, and I've kept to it this year, and I've actually had better mental health. I haven't gone down that rabbit hole of I'm useless. So that's good. Anyway. So that was my speech talking point. We are really getting low on these, but I do have one that I'm saving for the end of it because I'm not super big on talking about it. But who knows? If we got there, I might just yap for the whole rest of the time that I'm making these. So next up is, let's just jump to Quiz Bowl, and then we can circle around to Valentine's Day's plans. So Quiz Bowl is another after-school activity I'm doing where basically it's like trivia. So you have a team of like 4 or 5 different people. Right now our team has 4 people. So it's me, a junior, and 2 freshmen. And our whole thing is basically you go into a tournament, you have like 6 preliminary rounds where you just answer a bunch of questions. And whoever, it's kind of complicated. So first you get a toss-up question, which is basically just a really long question that is worth, who am I on? Okay, that person, got it. Like a really long question that can be about anything, like, okay, what is, like, it's not even a question, it's just describing something, and you have to figure out what it's describing, and you buzz in. If you got the question right, you get 10 points. If you get it right in like the first handful of words, you get 15 points. And if you get it wrong before the question, if you get it wrong before the question is done answering, or before the question is done being read out, you get negative 5 points. And if you get it wrong after the question's been read out, you get no penalty. You just don't get the question or the points. So yeah, that is the toss-up question. If your team gets the toss-up question, aka anyone on your team answers this question, you can't confer for it, by the way. You cannot talk with your teammates about what you think the answer is. If you get this, then you get 3 bonus questions. Each bonus question is worth 10 points, and they're all related to the same subject. So it could be like authors from this time period, or authors who wrote about this war, or music, or wars itself, or just something about this country, and all that. And for this one, you can talk with your team. So you do that, and every question you get right is 10 points. And there are usually 24 toss-up questions. So, like, you answer 12 questions, then you take a quick break, and then you answer 12 more questions. Except, of course, you have the bonus questions. So these rounds can go on for pretty long. Depending on how many questions are answered. And yeah. But eventually after the preliminary rounds, there's going to be like an actual elimination thing. And I must say, my team is really good at Quiz Bowl. We have this one freshman who apparently has like gone to state or something. I don't know. He's gone pretty far. And he's gained a reputation. How did we end up with this again? I have 4 lollipops and 3 cards. Second baker's dozen. Wonderful. Anyway. Hello. Still recording. Anyway. He has gained a reputation. Like, last tournament I went to, we competed with only 3 people because one of the other people in our team also does speech. So he was at the first speech tournament. And we were competing. And every other team that we went up against that we beat had like 4 people on it, and we only had 3. So I was like, you may have numbers, but we have this person. And he was really good. He got like almost every toss-up in our first round. So yeah, he's awesome. The other kid on our team is also, the other kids on our team are also awesome. I am easily one of, if not the worst person on our team. I will say that much. I have like very baseline knowledge about a bunch of random topics. So I'm good with like pop culture, I guess, and some, not really pop culture, honestly, and some like, oh, speaking of Quiz Bowl, we're moving on to the people there. And like some people, or not some people, like some true crime, I guess. I have base level knowledge on a bunch of random topics, but one second. Okay, we're getting low. This is the second to last box of Valentine's, so we might actually finish this before I get through all my yapping points, which is wonderful, because I'm sure, again, my parents and siblings would like this area back. 1 second. I guess I'm going to learn how to edit stuff today, because my sibling does not want their name to be said in this video, and I've already said it multiple times. And I haven't zoned out yet. That's another thing. I haven't zoned out of talking yet, which is really good. So that's 3, 6, 9, a random stick, 12, 13. Another baker's dozen. Oh, I need the cards, right. So anyway, oh gosh, what was I saying? So I'm very happy when I do get toss-ups or bonuses, because it's like, yay, I contributed something to the team. But honestly, my position has given me an idea for like a character thing, like a character relationship, where you have like this team of people, let's just say it's a sports team for now, and they're all really good at sports. Like maybe they all have their specialties, where like one person, if it's a basketball team, is really good at shooting, another person's really good at setting picks, stuff like that. But then this other, like, but they're all really good across the board. And then you just have this one person who's pretty mediocre and everything. Like, they're not bad. Compared to the rest of the team, they're bad, but they're like probably just average and everything. And they don't care. They don't really care that they're not as good as everyone else. They're just happy to be on the team. That's me when it comes to Quiz Bowl. I'm just happy to be included. If I get a bonus or toss-up, I'm very happy about that, but honestly, I'm just happy to be there. I wish I could carry that mental health idea over into speech, because that would honestly keep me from having breakdowns. I haven't had any this year, but it's been close. I say that with my family in the room. Anyway, is that all I wanted to talk about with Quiz Bowl? Let's see. Tournaments and team standings. Yeah, I guess that's it. I guess one last little thing from the most recent tournament we went to. It was at this, like, church school, and they had this, like, random cutout area where, I don't even know what it was for. It was, like, an assembly, I guess, but it was kind of like a just random area with, like, 3 small steps that went down to the rest. I don't really know how to explain it. But it was, like, a very small staircase going into a hollowed-out standing meeting area right in front of, like, a stage and podium. And, yeah, my dad is sitting right here. He knows where this is going. He was with us that day.
They didn't have the proper yellow caution marks around the steps, I will say.
So I just hear, like, the sound of, like, papers shuffling. We're walking to our first room. We hear the sound of papers shuffling. Turn around. My dad is rolling down the stairs. He slipped and fell down them. But he's okay. He didn't sustain any injuries. He just fell.
I did it gracefully.
True. And, yeah. So that's also a little tidbit of information. you know how like in scenes where actors get pushed downstairs and they're always like barrel rolling? That's because like that's actually a safe way to fall downstairs apparently, so it keeps them from getting super injured, which would not happen otherwise. If they fell down in any other way, they would probably get very injured. So that's a little tip. If you're falling downstairs, try to do a barrel roll so that you don't like end up getting killed or anything, because that's what the actors do. I'm sure they have plenty of other safety precautions there in case something else, like, because that's probably not just the only thing that they have to do. Otherwise, a lot of people would be saved from falling downstairs and getting hurt, but, you know. Anyway, my next thing is the one acts. So that's fun, and we're also almost done, so this might actually be my last talking point before we wrap this up. I'm just going to take a little lollipop and put it there. So, I've already mentioned the one acts and the ones I'm in, but let's just go through this step by step. So first thing, auditions process. One of my friends who's like an actor of the school was like, oh, y'all in this group chat should try out for the one acts, and sent like a link to the form. And I was like, yeah, sure, why not? You know, just little plays and all that. Why not sign up for them? So I did, and there were a few different types that you could do. There's dancing, singing, and acting, and I decided I was going to audition for singing and acting because I like singing. I was a choir kid last year. I quit because our school only allows us to have 6 classes, and there were other things I wanted to get done. I wanted to continue my language credits and all that, and I already had my fine arts credit. So I was just like, yeah, singing, I'll do that, and acting, I really want to do that. I want to try my hand at that, so let's do it. So I did it, and I did really bad with singing, I'm pretty sure. Like, I was so nervous going into it, and I put myself as a soprano, but I think I'm more of like whatever is between a soprano and an alto. I think that's like mezzo or something, or I'm not really sure, but I don't have a super high range and I don't have a super low range, so I don't really fit well with either of those, but I'm probably better with soprano. That's what I'm more used to doing anyway. So now we're on to my D&D group. This isn't even a club, it's just D&D with some friends. So that's what I did for singing. And I did horrible. Like, I was very squeaky and shaky, and like after, like basically what happened was we did warm-ups, very short warm-ups, and then we were doing solos, and I hated that. I wanted so badly just to do a group thing just so that I could gather my confidence, because I am not confident. And I didn't do that. So then it was solos, and I did my solo, and I did it horribly. And I just like sat down. I didn't look at anyone because I was genuinely crying. I was tearing up and starting to cry a bit. I'm fine now. I can laugh at this. I promise. I only traumatized myself a little. But I had my backpack with me. And in my backpack, in one of the pockets, I have like a bunch of little fidgets and stress toys and relaxers. So I just took out like a thing of bubbles and blew some, and they made me happier. And then we continued on with auditions. And I still didn't do great, but I did better after I calmed down. And I didn't get any singing parts, but that's okay. And then I also did acting. And I got to read for different scripts. And there were like 2 murder mysteries. I got to read for one of the murder mysteries. And I was very happy for that. I didn't get into that one. And then I got to read for another murder mystery. Or I didn't get to read for that one, sorry. But I really wanted to. Because there was one character, Ashley, who's like very sassy. And I'm a very snarky person. So I really wanted to do that. But I didn't get to. Oh well. And then I ended up reading for one of my friends. One of my friends is the director. My best friend was the director for one of them. And I got to read for that one, and I was super happy about it. And then I also got to read for a handful of others. And the casting list came out later that night. And speaking of casting list, we are now doing the one-act Valentines. These are the last ones, I'm pretty sure. So, yay. Anyway, I did that. The acting list came out, and I ended up getting cast in 2 different things, which was awesome. One of them was my best friend's show, Mr. Johnson's First Case. So I'm pretty sure there was some nepotism there, because I'm pretty sure everyone who got cast is a friend of my best friend. So I don't know why I keep saying it like I'm Southern or whatever. I'm very much not Southern. But I ended up getting cast. So I'm pretty sure there's nepotism there. But I also got cast in, basically the idea is that it's this court case dramedy or comedy where this one, like, you have a murder has happened in this small town, or in this town. The murder victim was really short. And then this town is just really weird. So, like, the football coach is the judge, and the prosecutor says everything 3 times. So, like, man, can we get on with the procedures? Man, can we get on with the procedures? Man, can we get on with the procedures? Except it's not all in a row. There's, like, stuff broken up by it. And then there was, like, the defendant is just, like, so over dramatic. And I have to be the defense attorney. So I'm trying to defend this person from murder, and it's not going well. And I'm the only one who actually understands law in this show, apparently. So I just get to be so done with everyone all the time. And that is such a great role for me, because that's how I am inside half the time when I'm with, like, anyone. I'm just like, oh my gosh, you are an idiot. I apologize to anyone I've ever thought about that way. I'm sure you're not an idiot. I just thought you were. Put that on the quote wall. Instead of having a quote book, my family has a quote wall where we just put, like, random things that people have said. Anyway, so I was having fun with that. And this other one, I think there's also a bit of nepotism because the director is someone in one of my classes, so we kind of knew each other. But I ended up starting out with a non-speaking role, just, like, for blocking or whatever, which isn't the worst thing in the world. You know, I have a big role in the other play, so it's a good thing that I don't have any lines in this one, so I don't have to focus on memorization. Then another person dropped out of that one, so then I got upgraded to a speaking role, and now I have to memorize those lines, and thankfully, I don't think anyone else is memorized fully. So I'm able to just slide by with that, but I need to do more memorization. Yeah, both of them should be fun and chaotic, and it's gonna be great. Let's see. There were other things I wanted to talk about the 1X. What were they? Possible directing ideas. Oh yeah, I have some ideas on, like, maybe next year if I want to direct one of my own. I'm not sure though if I want to, like, write my own, because I feel like if I write my own, it's gonna be really short. If anyone here has listened to Leave the City by 21 Pilots, I have an idea for a song kind of based off of that, where it's like 3 or 4 people who have gotten, like, lost, or not lost, but who were on this mission in this post-apocalyptic world to go through this dark area full of monsters to bring supplies to this camp of people who are in the light area and need help, but they end up getting lost or stranded, and they call for help, but no one responds, so they're basically just left for dead. And they know it's their last night because they don't have enough fuel to keep the fire going, and the fire is the only thing that's been keeping the monsters at bay. So basically the whole story is just them accepting their deaths and talking about their lives up until this point, and how they all, like, ended up almost dying here, or, like, how they do end up dying, and then the last thing that happens, the lights go out and then you just hear their screams. I think that'd be fun. Another idea I have is, like, a scene from House of Anubis, because that's a TV show I like. I've only seen season 1, but I've read the TV tropes page without the spoilers, or with the spoiler gates off, so I have gotten spoiled completely on that. Yeah. And we are genuinely almost done. Like, we have 4 more on my list, and then I think there's going to be, like, 3 more that I want to add. But, yeah. Anyway, possible directing things. That's fun. What else do I want to talk about? Costumes. So, for Mr. Johnson's first case, because I'm a lawyer, I'm planning on just using my speech costume, or my speech outfit, which is basically just a 3-piece suit with fancy shoes. Just because, like, it's the most, like, it looks like something a lawyer would wear. And then I'm planning on kind of wearing the same thing, except I might need a red polo shirt for the other 1-act, Ava. Neon Genesis evangelical anime from the 90s. Because I'm also supposed to look somewhat professional then, but not like super professional, I guess. Like it's like khakis and a shirt. So I don't know. We'll see how that goes. I'll probably like take a picture of the outfit at some point and just show it to people and be like, hey, is this okay if this is what I wear? Because our costumes are really just like whatever we can find at home. Kind of bring that in. In the Ava one, though, there are some wigs that are going to be used. So someone has a gray wig and possibly a cane, but they dropped it a lot during rehearsal, so I don't know if they're going to keep that. Another character has, like, this bright blue wig, which they came out wearing today. Like, they went into the bathroom to change while we were running the first part of the scene, because they don't come in until later. And then they came out, and we all just started laughing because they look so silly. And, yeah. I've been talking for almost an hour and a half now. Great.
Can you do the litter box?
Yeah, once when I finish this. The litter box is not fun to do, but oh well. Anyway, yeah. So, that's kind of my idea for just what I'm planning on wearing, just the 3-piece suit. And then we have Tech Week next week, because the one acts are happening next week, but I'm going to be out of town when Tech Week starts, so that's going to be fun. And this is, like, my first actual official, like, play. I've done, like, some acting things before for Lyric Arts, but that was really it. So I've never actually done anything, like, actual acting. So this is going to be, like, my first time actually doing that, and I have no clue what Tech Week is like, but I just know it's going to be chaotic, just from what I've heard. And it's just going to be horrible, probably, but oh well. Anyway, and then roles was... That was just a reminder to talk about, like, how I'd been upgraded to one role. And whatever. Okay. So, I have 2 more talking points. I honestly thought I was not going to get through any of these. But also, we have, like, very few Valentines left. So, I'm going to have to, like, speed run this. So, we're just going to talk about my Valentine's Day weekend. And how that's going to pan out. So, for Valentine's Day weekend, because Valentine's Day falls on a Saturday this year, basically what I'm going to do is this Friday, I'm going to pass out Valentines. I have a Quiz Bowl team meeting tomorrow, so I might actually pass out Valentines then, which will be fun. But, one second. For Valentine's Day weekend, I'm just passing everything out on Friday. Cheaper than buying candygrams, possibly. Because again, I have like 70-something people I'm giving Valentines to. And Dad just got all these at the $1.25 store. Let's count these up real quick. That's 3 lollipops. 6 lollipops. 9 lollipops. 12 lollipops. 13. Okay, so I'm starting to wonder if this baker's dozen thing is actually something that's supposed to happen. Still doesn't explain the random straw I got, but oh well. We'll just put that one aside. And I need the final list of people. I have like 4 left, I believe. Yeah. Actually 3. And then I get to just do this. But anyway, so we're going to do that for Valentine's Day. And then Saturday, my mom and I are actually going to Chicago because Josh Johnson is going to be there on the Flowers Tour. And we're going to go see him perform Saturday night. And it's going to be a long drive. We're going to leave early, and then we're going to get to the hotel and all that. And actually, because I have my learner's permit, I'm not a licensed person yet, but I have my learner's permit. So I'm going to be driving on the highway, on the freeway. Be afraid. I am horrible with my lefts and rights, as we have learned. I have cut across like 2 lanes of traffic to turn right when my mom said left. Be very afraid of me on the road, okay? I promise I'm getting better, but, you know, all it takes is one mistake, and that one mistake is going to be me putting on the wrong turn signal and going the wrong way. But after that, After Saturday, we're going to spend Sunday in Chicago, and then Monday we're going to drive back. Monday is also the first day of tech week. So hopefully nothing happens, or like hopefully we get back in time maybe for me to be able to just jump at school and finish it. And we have finished my list, everyone. We have finished my list. I still have a few extras because there were a few people I neglected to put on here, sadly. So I'm going to make a few more Valentines, and then we're going to end the video. Finally, over an hour and 30 minutes of me talking. I did not think it would take this long. I swear it didn't take me this long last year. But, yeah. Life is good. And then, yeah, I guess that's it pretty much. This seems like a good place to stop. So I'm just gonna make these last few Valentines. Oh shoot, I just remembered another person I completely forgot to give a Valentine to. So we're just gonna swear, Amber, you are. This is why I always have extra Valentines. This is why I always get so many, because I always forget people. Or I have like spur of the moment, I want to give you a Valentine. So I do. You know what? I'm not going to waste a card on this. Or maybe not waste. Waste is not the right word. I'm not going to use a card for this because I want to keep these for extra people. But here you go. If you've made it this far in the video, you get a Valentine from me. Happy Valentine's Day. Happy Day of Love. Happy whatever you celebrate. I don't know. And yeah, that'll be it. So thank you for watching. Have a great day, night, or whatever. Go out and make the world a better place, and I will see you next time. Bye!